Ni tarehe 30 mwezi Novemba mwaka wa 2022, siku ya mwisho ya mwezi huu wa Novemba. Karibu tuingie katika mwezi wa Disemba, mwezi wa shamra shamra. Karibu sana mpenzi mtazamaji katika matangazo ya Mwanzo Habari. Mimi naitwa Victor Wanaso na kukaribisha tuandamane kuanzia sasa hadi tamati. Tumekuandalia mengi, ila tunikumbushe kwamba unafuatilia matangazo haya katika mitandao yetu ya Facebook na Twitter, ambapo tunapatikana kama @MWANZO.TV. Hebu tuanze mtazamaji moja kwa moja na matangazo haya. Na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ikiongozwa na Rais William Ruto leo hii inazindua hazina ya walalahoi, ukipenda hustlers, baada ya hazina hiyo kuidhinishwa na bunge la kitaifa. Hazina hiyo ya shilingi bilioni 50 inatazamiwa kuwapa Wakenya milioni 8 nafasi ya pili ya kupata mikopo ya riba ya chini. Ni hafla ambayo mtazamaji inatarajiwa kuanza wakati wowote kuanzia sasa hapa jijini Nairobi. Na tukiachana na hayo mtazamaji na kusonga mbele, ni kuwa Muungano wa Azimio la Umoja umefutilia mbali mkutano wa kupinga serikali ambao uliratibiwa kufanyika leo hii katika eneo la Kamkunji jijini Nairobi. Mkutano huo ambao ulikuwa wa kilele cha maandamano ya amani katikati mwa jiji sasa utafanyika tarehe 7 mwezi Disemba.
Against the 4 IEBC commissioners is a lynch mob, a hired squad, and an illegality with a predetermined position. We don't recognize it and won't recognize or honor its findings. Instead, we will fight it to the bitter end, in and outside the House. 2, we are aware that the product of the kangaroo proceedings in the name of jailer is scheduled to be tabled on Thursday, 1st December 2022, and subsequently a special sitting of the House to sanitize the report is to be called on the 7th of December.
Tutoke jijini Nairobi na kuelekea katika kaunti ya Garissa. Na maafisa wa serikali ya kaunti hiyo ya Garissa wamewahamasisha washikadau ili kuzuia kutokea janga kufuatia mkurupuko wa ugonjwa wa kipindupindu ambao tayari umegharimu maisha ya watu 4. Idadi jumla ya visa vilivyothibitishwa katika kaunti hiyo sasa zimefikia 372, idadi kubwa zikitoka kambi za wakimbizi za Dadaab. Kisa cha kwanza kiliripotiwa tarehe 23 Novemba katika kambi ya wakimbizi ya Hagdera kabla ya kusambaa katika maeneo mengine ya kaunti hiyo.
It's the 23rd of October, and cholera is one disease that is very easy actually to spread, and it is a disease that can actually be disrupted if we change our behaviors and public health interventions, but not just from the Department of Health or from the Ministry of Health for that matter, but when we have multi-sectoral coordination and response. And that is why we called for this meeting today. As we are speaking this morning, actually, we have 372 cases that have been reported so far, and unfortunately, we had 4 deaths actually that have been recorded. And we are also having some sporadic cases that are being reported in the different places. Initially, the first case was reported in the refugee camps, and that is Hagardera on the 23rd of October. And most of the cases now, majority of these cases, I think almost over 90% of these cases are still within the refugee camps. But then the cases now have also spilled over to the host community. So we are having several of our sub-counties now that have been affected. We have cases in, of course, the Dondoo sub-county, Fafi, and also Garissa sub-county. As for the cases of Garissa, most of them are from Madogo in Tana River. Of course, it is within our vicinity here, and we live with them, and we've been attending to the cases here. We call upon to the people of Garissa to scale up their hygiene and help us in disrupting and containing this disease. Hivyo basi tukikuwa na hali ya usafi ambayo itakuwa tumedumisha sisi wote, na tuungane mkono na kila mtu akuwe anachukua wajibu wake haswa vile anavyotakana, tutakuwa tume control hii ugonjwa wa kipindupindu.
Kutokana na ile ugonjwa ambaye ni ugonjwa wa kipindupindu ambao mmearifiwa tokea kule Dadaab na sehemu za Garissa mjini, na kuna watu kadhaa ambao wamelaswa katika hospitali. Tuko na wagonjwa vile vile katika vijijini pale, na tumepoteza watu watatu kama vile mbelezo. Na kwa hivyo lengo letu siku ya leo ni kuhakikisha kwamba tumeshirikiana vizuri zaidi ili tuwe na coordination mzuri baina ya mashirika mbalimbali ambao wanafanya kazi katika Garissa County. Tunatoa wito kwa wale wengine wote ambao labda wako na sisi waendelee kutupatia usaidizi, kwa sababu tunahitaji madawa, tunahitaji extension officers ambao watatembea kule nyanjani kuhamasisha wananchi. Na kwa hivyo kwa upande wetu tumejitolea na tumeakiza deputy county commissioners wakishirikiana na chiefs assistant chiefs wetu waweze kutoka nje, waende kwa kila nyumba kwa nyumba, waweze kuhamasisha watu wetu, kwa sababu ugonjwa wa kipindupindu umetokana kwa sababu ya ukosefu ya maji. Maji ni haba katika sehemu hii yetu ya Garissa, na vile vile watu wetu wote hawatumii choo. Na kwa hivyo tutaweka iwe lazima kwamba katika vijiji zote katika sehemu hii lazima choo iweko. Na kwa hivyo tunauliza public health officers wakishirikiana na NEMA officer ambaye yuko hapa waweze kuenforce sheria, kwa sababu sheria hiko na hiyo sheria yafaa isaidie kulinda mwananchi. Polisi wameagiza kusaidiana na hawa ili kwa wale ambao hawezi kufuata hiyo sheria waweze kushikwa na kustakiwa. Lakini hata hivyo tunaamini kwamba tutafanya kazi iwezekanavyo kwa haraka iwezekanavyo kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo ugonjwa tumehakikisha imesimama. Hiyo media tunaomba tusambaze hii habari, na tunashukuru county government wa Garissa kwa sababu wametoa hakikisho kwamba watatoa usaidizi wa haraka ili tuweze kusimamisha hii. Kwa ile imetokea kule Tana River, tutashirikiana vile vile na
masuala ya elimu. Na watainiwa wa mitihani ya KCPE na KPSEA wanamalizia mitihani yao leo hii kwa masomo ya sanaa ya ubunifu ama creative arts, somo la kijamii social studies na somo la kidini. Rais William Ruto hapo jana alitangaza kuwa serikali itatoa mwongozo wa jinsi wanafunzi wa gredi ya 6 watakavyoendelea na masomo yao mwaka ujao. Tangazo ambalo linafuatia hali ya sintofahamu kuhusu hatma ya zaidi ya watainiwa milioni 1.2 wanaofanya mtihani huo wa kitaifa wa gredi ya 6 KPSEA.
Na KCSE zote pamoja zitaanza apatiwe nafasi ya kufanya mtihani katika mazingira tulivu na mazingira yenye iko na amani. Na ndio sababu tumemobilize askari wengi kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ya mitihani inaendelea vizuri katika centers zetu zote. And I want to say for the record that this examination, we are going to be having examinations in all the centers for our children who are carrying out exams today, either KCPE or KCSE. There is adequate security in every center so that we do not distract our children from carrying out their examination.
To thank the teachers who have prepared these learners for the good job that you have done. And I want to say once again that the teaching profession is a calling. Nobody can compensate you adequately for what you do. It's a sacrifice. And that is why we are calling for respect for our teachers, because what they do is a calling. It's such a huge sacrifice. And that is why in our plan in the Kenya Manifesto, we agreed that the process of delocalization should be done away with, so that teachers are able to work anywhere without being coerced to work in certain areas. That is why the president has set up the Working Party on Educational Reforms to look at issues CBC, to look at TVET, to look at university education. And this Friday, we'll be giving the way forward after the president receives an interim report on how we proceed with the CBC.
Nao mawaziri watawacha kupokea mshahara wao wa mwezi mmoja ili kusaidia Wakenya wanaokabiliwa na ukame unaoendelea kushuhudiwa nchini. Hilo liliafikiwa katika mkutano wa 3 wa baraza la mawaziri lililoongozwa na Rais William Ruto katika ikulu ya Nairobi. Baraza hilo linajumuisha mwanasheria mkuu wa serikali, mawaziri, naibu wa rais na rais mwenyewe.
Father, we want to thank you for this meeting. Thank you for bringing each and every one of the issues of our country. Father, you will give us insights and we can make the right decisions. Father, I want to pray that you will look after this great nation that you have entrusted to our good hands.
Na sasa tuelekee nchini Somalia, mtazamaji. Na vikosi vya usalama vya taifa la Somalia vimesema vimekamilisha mapambano ya zaidi ya saa 20 katika hoteli inayotumiwa na maafisa wa serikali katika mji mkuu wa Mogadishu. Takriban watu 15 wamepoteza maisha yao katika shambulio hilo, wakiwemo washambuliaji 6. Msemaji wa polisi Sadiq Aden amesema washambuliaji wa kundi la Al-Shabaab walipigwa risasi na kufa, huku mmoja akijilipua baada ya wanamgambo hao kuvamia hoteli ya Villarosa tarehe 27 Novemba.
Al-Shabaab waliwaua raia 8 waliokaa katika hoteli hiyo, na vikosi vya usalama vilifanikiwa kuokoa takriban raia 60. Hakuna hata mmoja miongoni mwa raia aliyejeruhiwa. Katika operesheni hizo, askari mmoja wa usalama aliuawa na wengine 5 kujeruhiwa.
Mlima wa volkano wa Hawaii wa Mauna Loa, ambao ni mlima mkubwa zaidi wa volkano duniani, ulipuka kwa mara ya kwanza katika takriban miaka 40. Mamlaka ya Marekani ilisema, huku wafanyikazi wa dharura wakiendelea na tahadhari mapema. Mtiririko wa lava ulisalia ndani ya eneo la kilele la Mauna Loa, lakini mlipuko huo unaweza kuwa tishio kwa wakazi wa karibu iwapo hali itabadilika. Shirika la utafiti wa jiolojia la Marekani limeripoti.
But at the moment, the eruption in the summit of Moku Vale up on the top of Mauna Loa, there are reports that you can see it from the Kona side. I have heard, but there's no lava flows going.
Hebu tunikumbushe kwamba tutakuwa na mahojiano kuhusiana na hatma ya makamishna 4 wa tume ya IEBC ambao waliweza kujitenga na matokeo yaliyotangazwa na mwenyekiti wa IEBC Wafula Chebukati wakati wa uchaguzi wa Agosti. Ila mtazamaji, hebu nikupeleke nchini China, na maandamano nchini Uchina dhidi ya vizuizi vya COVID ambayo yalizuka mwishoni mwa juma yameonekana kufifia baada ya maafisa wa serikali kuanza kuchukua hatua kali. Kumeripotiwa kuwepo kwa polisi wengi katika miji kadhaa. na baadhi ya mikusanyiko ikizimwa.
Maandamano nchini China dhidi ya vizuizi vya virusi vya korona ambayo yalizuka mwishoni mwa juma yameonekana kufifia baada ya maafisa wa serikali kuanza kuchukua hatua kali. Kumeripotiwa kuwepo kwa polisi wengi katika miji kadhaa na baadhi ya mikusanyiko iliondoshwa. Kumeibuka taarifa za watu kuhojiwa na simu zao kusakwa, lakini Wachina wanaoishi ughaibuni wameendelea kuandamana katika baadhi ya miji ulimwenguni. Maandamano ya weekend iliyopita yaliongezeka baada ya moto katika eneo la juu la Urumqi magharibi mwa China kuua watu 10 siku ya Alhamisi. Inaaminika wakazi hawakuweza kuepuka moto huo kwa sababu ya vizuizi vya virusi vya korona vilivyowekwa, lakini viongozi wa eneo hilo wamepinga madai hayo, na kutokana na hilo maelfu ya watu walienda barabarani na kufanya maandamano wakitaka kukomeshwa kwa vizuizi hivyo, huku wengine wakitoa wito adimu kwa Rais Xi Jinping kujiuzulu. Lakini siku ya Jumatatu maandamano yaliyopangwa mjini Beijing hayakufanyika baada ya maafisa kulizunguka eneo la mkutano huko Shanghai. Vizuizi vikubwa viliwekwa kando ya barabara kuu ya maandamano na baadhi ya waandamanaji walikamatwa na maafisa wa polisi. Maandamano madogo katika mji wa kusini wa Hanzu Jumatatu usiku pia yalisimamishwa haraka, huku watu wakiishia mikononi mwa polisi. Hadi sasa hakuna idadi kamili ya watu walioshikiliwa na polisi kutokana na maandamano hayo.
Na mtazamaji, na kwa taarifa hiyo kutoka nchini Uchina ndipo tunahitimisha taarifa kwa wakati huu. Shukran sana mtazamaji kwa kutenga muda wako kutazama taarifa za Mwanzo Habari. Na sasa mtazamaji, na kuacha na mahojiano ambayo tumeyafanya na mchanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa kutoka hapa Nairobi, Kenya, ambaye anafahamika kama Kotonde kuhusiana na hatma ya makamishna wanne wa tume ya IEBC ambao waliweza kujitenga na matokeo yaliyotangazwa naye mwenyekiti Wafula Chebukati wakati wa uchaguzi wa Agosti mwaka huu. Tazama. Thank you so much for joining us here at Mwanzo TV, and it's that time that we talk about the state of politics here in Kenya. And today we're going to talk about the 4 OPEC commissioners. These are the Vice Chair of IEBC, Juliana Cherera, Irene Masit, Justus Nyang'aya, and Francis Wanderi, who are being probed by the Justice and Legal Committee after 4 petitions were presented against them. And to help us in that discussion is none other than Kotonde, a political pundit from here in Nairobi. Welcome to the program, Kotonde.
Thank you very much for the invitation. And I believe that we will properly and squarely look into the matters affecting the 4 commissioners,
yes,
the mistakes they might have carried out, and the way forward and their fates.
Yes, and let's go straight into it. 4 petitions were presented against them for trying to subvert the will of the people of Kenya during the August 2022 elections. First, do you agree with those 4 petitions?
First of all, I want to congratulate the Kenyans who took part, and they took their quality time to go and exercise their democratic right of electing different leaders at different capacities, starting with the governors, the president himself, all the way up to the MCAs on the ground.
Yeah.
And then 2, I want to say that what guides us and what makes the Kenyans to stand out is our constitution,
yeah,
which must be and must always be upheld, ranging from those who are in the office and even the Kenyans themselves. So I believe that the 4 commissioners, to me, I can see some malice. And we will automatically talk about this malice and give them to the common mwananchi so that such mistakes should not be repeated going forward. Yes. So, just to give you a summary of maybe what we need to know is that if you check Article 1 of the Constitution, it states that the sovereignty of this Constitution is majorly on the people. They have all the rights when it comes to carrying out their democratic right, like what happened on 8th, whereby most Kenyans, majority of Kenyans, decided to go and exercise their right, democratic right, voting. But when it comes to the Cherera 4, that is Julius Jagaya, Masit, Wandera, and Cherera herself, to me, I can say without fear of contradiction that they did a great mistake, which should never be repeated. You can remember the case of the then Deputy Chief Justice, Madam Baraza, Dr. Baraza. The moment you are in a public position, there's some decorum which must be followed. One, there must be respect to the rule of law, that is the constitution of our country, irrespective of which position you have and irrespective of the persons you interact with. Two, you must know that in that very public position or public office, you must be ready to serve with diligent honesty. In the very, very position, you must know that those who have given you the mandate are the people of Kenya. Because one, they fuel your activities. Yes. They cover your head. Your security is under the taxpayers' money. So when it comes to the time when you are supposed to give one, credible, two, verifiable, and attainable results, then I think we should be fully into that.
Yeah, and we shall be delving into that.
Yes.
But a lot of Kenyans are a bit worried when it comes to the timing. Why they're asking why now?
As you know, that the other three, that is Professor Gule, Mulo, and the chair himself, Bwana Chebukati, their timing and their term coming to an end by 17th of January. And as the Constitution, like I said initially, the Constitution is what guides us. The Constitution is what we all base our discussions and guidance. We did an election. Yes. The Cherera 4 plus the three officers were given the mandate by the Kenyans. But it is also the right of Kenyans, or right of any Kenyan, who feels that what the other four, that is Cherera and the team, did was equally not up to task. Therefore, that is the reason as to why we are seated here and we're looking at why the haste. So that going forward, we may not experience such a case. Because if in case we could have gone the Cherera way, as we are going to look at, then I don't think we could be having this pace and at least time to discuss, time to walk around, because this country ought to be in flames.
There was another petition that was presented to the same Justice and Legal Committee of the National Assembly, but the committee, in their wisdom or maybe lack of it, decided to deal with the 4 petitions that were presented against the Cherera 4, and decided to look away from the one that was presented accusing Wafula Chebukati. What do you make of that?
Just to take you back, there were 2 petitions against the chair himself. It was presented to the National Assembly for an action.
Yes.
But as time goes by, it has not been acted upon. So as we speak, the one going through the 4 commissioners, assistant chair, and the 3 tend to override based on the timing too. Why do I say so? Because for you or for one person to fully say that there is a case against the chair, for it to go beyond the point at which it is received, it must have evidence. Just like the cases which were petitioning the presidential results, which were done by the Right Honorable Raila and the team. They were not having substantive, we call it evidence, to make it go further than where it was. So at the end of the day, we were seeing the hot air and such stuff. So in my own thinking, I believe, by virtue of it's not going forward, one against the chair, I believe it is not having a substantive research and evidence to make it move beyond where it was received. Yes.
Let's talk about the tweet that was made by the President William Ruto in his part with the Azimio leader Raila Odinga. Is that a way that made a lot of Kenyans believe that maybe he was a bit vengeful to the 4 commissioners who decided to go against the will of the, or rather, who decided to go against the results that was announced by Wafula Chebukati in the August elections?
The tweet, which was from our president, Dr. William Ruto, I remember it was stating that the rogue 4. What, in my own thinking, the president of the country, Dr. William Ruto, was saying was that, one, it was rogue for the 4 commissioners to kind of like try to subvert the will of the people. Because, one, the commissioners go through a lot of grilling before they are in that very position. The commissioners, they even sign an affidavit to stipulate and critically assign them that they will toe to the lines of what it takes to counting, verifying, tallying fully, and then announcing the results.
Yes.
The other one, it was saying that the honesty and the integrity of these 4 commissioners was questionable. Why? Because it was like, how come you have been in this work? We have the commissioners, 7 of them. They have carried out the one for MCAs. They have carried out the results and announced, officially declared, the one for MPs, both the upper and the lower, plus the governors, and also the president. Why is it that they did not walk away from the beginning Why at the very final time on 15th? And going forward also, if you look at the way Herrera were giving the information,
Yes.
that they were not in a position to fully stand by and defend what was close to be announced by the chair. If you look at this, the following day, that's on 16th, the same thing. The statement were telling such that the Azimio team, led by the chief, right, Honorable Raila Odinga, was almost close to what Herrera for. So kind of like they were dancing and singing to the tunes of Azimio, which, as per the law, is against the law. So that's why kind of like the president was saying, they kind of like seems to be rogue. So that word rogue can mean a lot of stuff. If I can also take you back, the very commissioners at one particular time, led by the chair, were visited by one then Secretary General for Jubilee, Raphael Tuju, at 3, plus others. The main message was to negotiate for this position. 2 was to, we call it, reorganize and also moderate, that's the best term, moderate the results to at least suit the current Azimio chief, Raila Odinga. 3 was to check the state of the results if it is not as per the Raila affiliates. They will kind of like plunge the country into violence and all that, for which this is not what the law states concerning such public offices, which were held by Herrera. Just name a few. Yes.
And the Supreme Court in his judgment when it was upholding the results of the August election, said that Wafula Chebukati was not in order to announce the result without the 4 commissioners, meaning the commission was supposed to speak in one voice. And the commissioners on their hand said that they did not agree with the results because there was no transparency in terms of the way the results were being streamed in. The results were being tallied at of the process. That is what they did not agree with, and decided maybe to walk out of the National Tallying Center. Do you think that is enough reasons to boycott the final announcement of the results?
I want to say that the chair, Bwana Wafula Chebukati, in its own wisdom, from the word go, he was doing the best when it comes to one. They were receiving results. They were tallying results. That is the 7 commissions.
Yes.
7 commissioners receiving, tallying, verifying, then announcing.
Yeah.
I can take you back. As you can remember, each commission was being given time to at least announce or even read the results as they were being displayed and the ones on the hard copy. This showed that Chebukati was very open to all the commissioners. By virtue of the Herrera 4 walking out of the ship at the very final time, between 3 in the evening and close to 5 in the evening. I can tell you for free. One, they might have been coerced in a way, because, like I've said, the one concerning one gentleman called Raphael Tuju paid a visit to Chebukati, the chair, and the intention was to negotiate. The Cherera 4 were also for the same.
The decision by the 4 commissioners not to appear before the JLAC committee, citing that they were not furnished with important documents. From where you sit, was that the right decision to do, or they were supposed to appear and maybe make a case for themselves?
Thank you very much. What I want to say is the commissioners, one, they did a mistake of not honoring the request by the JLAC. Why? Because it is stated in the law that if in case you are called by, like, the JLAC, or even you are requested to appear even before courts, you are given time. Did they request in writing that they can be given time to at least find the facts and the files concerning what the JLAC were interested in? Did they do that in writing? That means they contravene and look down upon our constitution.
Who is responsible for making sure that anybody who appears before a committee has been furnished with all the required documents?
One, you must we must take into account that the chair of the JLAC is the one who mans the JLC activities, as you saw when presentations were done by different parties. Like, there is a pastor who did a great presentation concerning the Cherera 4, who did a great mistake. The one, that question is majorly under the capacity of the chair. Yes.
And then let's talk about the fate of the 4 commissioners. What should we expect from them, if at all they will be ousted from the commission?
One, we must take it to the bank that the 4 commissioners did several mistakes. Just to name a few. One, walking out when the state is waiting for a very serious announcement from the entire commission. That was a mistake. Two, going to the press and thwarting that the information which will be given to the Kenyans by the said chair, they don't stand close to that.
Yeah.
3, giving an information close to a political affiliation, Azimio, is a contravening process of our constitution. The 4th one, not standing with an utmost honesty for such a position goes against our constitution. Going forward, 1, JLC will carry out the report. Though there's some saying in the social media that the chair kind of like maybe singing and dancing with the government.
Yeah.
But what I know, the constitution will stand out irrespective of where the chair is aligned to. I want the chair and the team, the committee, to uphold what it takes as per the law. We cannot be going the road of crying, yet our constitution is not being honored. If we go that road as Kenyans, possibilities of a recurring case, a recurring situation are there. We don't want to go that road. Yes. And just on the same, I want to also caution Kenyans against unnecessary phobia of just waking up and going to the streets. Why? Because in our culture as Africans, it is said that you can never mourn the dead more than the family who have lived. To me, the Terera 4 have not called for any mass action ranging from their kids, ranging from their husbands, ranging from their families, and even relatives. These people are millionaires. The people who will be going to the street to fight to retain them as they infringe and walk on our constitution are Kenyans they don't even know. So I want to request Kenyans to desist from unnecessary, without thinking, unnecessary mass action, because it will come with a lot of distractions. Some will not even be going towards the main agenda of Cherera 4. They will be going, like you can remember the other time when Raila was coming from Germany. He was denied access to the city by Emanate. You can remember what happened along Jogo Road. All the way, people are not now doing the peaceful demonstration. Some were nabbing, some were stealing, some were literally raping. And then that is not what I expect to the government. When such are caught, know very well that you are dealing with hooligans. These people who are not into what the mass action was about, one, they will be full of hooligans. Some will be taking advantage because that is an opportunity for them to have access to what they don't have. That's thieves and smugglers. The government must come out strongly to deal with such kind of hooliganisms. Because if we leave it at that point, and then as we speak, the country of Kenya, more so the city, the capital city, Nairobi, is full of crime rates. And when it is called at this time, what do you expect? One, a lot of, or many thieves will be coming, and they will be covering themselves that they are going through the mass action. Yet, they are targeting shops, eateries, restaurants, and name them. We don't want to lose lives. We don't want to take this country back where we don't want it to win.
And it's a tug of war between Azimio and the government. We saw Raila Odinga, the Azimio leader, announcing that they will be doing mass actions to defend the 4 commissioners. What would you say maybe was the best way of maybe defending those 4 commissioners on the Azimio side, even as the government tries to push for the ouster of the 4 commissioners?
One, we must accept the fact that the chief opposition leader is Raila Odinga. That one we cannot lie. The current president of the day, His Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, till 2027, unless fate has it differently. 2, it is never wrong to put the government of the day to task, but we have so many ways. The moment he called for mass action to stand with the Cherera 4, 1, he must know that the Cherera 4 did a mistake, which I've just named and mentioned. A big mistake. They were not into what we call integrity, respect to the office they are holding, and others trust. Therefore, we cannot accept the fact that Raila will be calling for mass action when we have key priorities. We have 3 great national exams going across this country. Primary, we have 2, class 8 and class 7. I mean class 6, grade 6 that is. Secondly, Kenya National Examination Council, which is ongoing. If a mass action is called now, do you want to tell me that places like we've been having places with a lot of banditry, will that exam go on? Where do you want these kids to be in the next few years to come? Will they be leaders? Will we even have the Railas? Because time is running for him. 2, the economy is dilapidated. Do we have food for these people who will be going for the mass action? Do we have? The moment they will be seen a store full of hunger as they pass, yet at home there is nothing. What do you think they will be doing to those shops? Get into the shop and carry, like what happened in Eldoret. Do we have to go that road? And also when there is a lot of unrest in the country, we don't have to go that road. It is right for Ireland to call for mass action on issues which can help the common man, not the 4. Kenya is bigger than the 4. And they must be in a position to be accounted for what they did. The law is very clear. If they were found culpable and they infringe the right and the constitution of our country, let the rule of law takes its course. You remember the case of Bazara.
Yeah.
She was hosted because of just saying you should know people.
Yeah.
Such a thing. The other one was Oswago. You remember what happened to Oswago? Correct. You remember what happened to the immediate former, that is Ezra Chiloba? Yeah. Correct. You can remember what happened to the immediate former chair of IEBC? Just to name. So we must uphold the rule of law. That is what guides us, and that is what makes us stand out in the Eastern African country. That is not like Uganda and other states which are not following their constitution. Yeah. So we are not going that road. I want to request Kenyans to desist from just borrowing and following blindly, because the government will come out in full force to defend the economy, to defend those who will be robbed, to defend and even to weed those who are amongst the mass action groups. We have some groups who must be uprooted, just like what's happening around the country now. I saw one of the police officers saying, which is equally right, we have our right, well, but there comes a time your right can as well be infringed. If you check Article 124 of the Constitution, your right to life is enshrined. Well, but the moment you are one person disturbing 1,000 persons, what does the government do? Take away that right. Yeah. Either by taking you to the jail, or if you seems to be that strong, then the government will face you in full force. Yes, possibly.
I'm just wondering if the commission will be fair to the 4 commissioners by writing a report when it has not heard them make their case before them. But it's public knowledge that the term of Wafula Chebukati, the chair of IEBC, is lapsing soon. Is there other way that maybe the executive or parliament would do to make sure that maybe they disband the commission and maybe start a fresh process of constituting another IEBC, so that will be holding future elections, other than other than ousting these four, when we know that Chebukati is going home?
You must know, and everybody in the whole state knows, that Chebukati, Gulie, Professor, and Mulo, their time is ending on 17th, 2023, January. And it is also stipulated in the very, very constitution that in the absence of the chair of the commission, the vice chair will take charge until such a time when the chair is reinstated through the normal process. You must know that as much as this Cherera 4 are being grilled by the JLAC, time frame is short. The same MPs are almost going to the recess. I think close to 15th of this coming month. Then they go for a recess up to the best part of January. As much as the report will be given, it will also take time for the president to appoint another team to look into what the report, the kind of report which was given by the JLAC. So we must know, and I've been seeing around, some people are saying that this is a plot by the Kenya Kwanza to at least plan for the 2027 election. I don't want to take it politically planned, but what I want to say is it will be good for the JLC to give us the report, present it to the president, and then the president will also give another commission, which will take time. Okay. The commissioners, the four, in my own sense, they have full right to present themselves. But in case they fail to present themselves, then it means they were singing for a semi-god, which everybody now sees. Why are you not willing to present yourself and defend yourself before the people who think that you are otherwise doing the contrary? And the same statement were being echoed by the Azimio team, that it is not right for the Cherera 4 to face the commission. If you look at those sentences, they are intertwined and they are borrowing from one another. That tells you that the four commissioners were not working in their own capacity. They were working under a certain pressure, which was affiliated to a political party, a contradiction to our constitution. They ought to have served the whole state, but they were serving a certain group, which is not right. So I request them, let them present themselves, even by giving a request that they still want, because they will not present themselves verbally. They must present themselves with some substantive report. Let them be given time, as per the law, 7 days. They collect whatever they want to collect in terms of evidence and everything. Then they present themselves before the commission. That is JJLC. That will make them stand out. And whatever is running the minds of many Kenyans will automatically run away. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kotonde, for coming. It's a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you very much. And I'm very grateful for the time, and also very grateful to the Mwanzo TV for giving me this time and this opportunity. And we are looking forward to serving Kenyans at different capacities and enlightening them based on everything that's okay.
And that was Kotonde, political pundit from here in Nairobi, Kenya, for you, just helping us dissect some of the political intrigues here in Kenya, and specifically the process of vetting the Cherera 4, as they are called here in Kenya, the four commissioners that decided to go against the results that were announced by Wafula Chebukati during the August elections. And that is where we call it an end for now. My name is Victor Wanaswa. Bye-bye for now.